It was a quick 2-0 for Fluffy Aimers, and now we get the chance to move into the second match of the day, and the last match of the week is going to be M80 against YFP. Welcome back, everybody, to VALORANT Challengers North America. I'm once again your host, Riot, joined by Wyatt and Vincili. And guys, talking about this match a little bit, M80 and YFP, they've come from different positions, where M80 have been, been the favorite for a long time, and then they started losing, and now they're back to winning, Wyatt. So what does it put us on today?
Yeah, I think it's tough to still be 100% sold on M80, though I do think at this point, you can be confident that they're definitely improving. They're, getting closer to the form that you expect, given the expectations that the names on the roster and the fact that they've stuck together for a full year give. But that being said, I don't think they're there yet. And we still don't know if they're going to get there, because this year, even taking in, stage one, the midseason playoffs, it hasn't been fully the M80 that everyone expected.
Yeah, they have not been the dominant team that was impossible to take down, and last year it was only the guard who could take them down for the most part, and this year it's been a couple of teams that have been taking them down, and some of that have been surprising. So that's why we keep wondering, Vans, where they are right now, where they are in this form, because they've talked about being frustrated, they talked about wanting to go back to those winning streaks again, but I mean, we only have this match in the last week, then playoffs.
And that's just the story of them, honestly reacting to every losses that we're trying to get throughout the season. And that's the moment where you're adding yourself that extra pressure, because you're that team that's supposed to win everything, like last year, that you're supposed to easily, quote unquote, make it to the Ascension Grand Finals and to finally get your chance of redemption and go up to partnership. But then things are not going in the way as you've anticipated, so you're going now into the early season of like, okay, it's only a loss, it's only a second loss, it's only a third loss, and then it's like, oh crap, things are not looking too great for us, where now that kind of lingers through like your confidence. It's almost like sometimes even for me as a caster, I'm not feeling the groove. You kind of have like this imposter syndrome to be like, where's my skill? Like how can I not shoot like I can anymore? But at least in the last 2 weeks for M80, they have brought up the firepower. You have seen Koala Noob and also Nismo putting some shots up, so it does help. And now with that extra firepower coming back into the roster and Zener finding his groove as an IGL, that's why I do agree with White. It's looking pretty good, but not fully convincing yet as to be like, oh, it's the M80 of the past.
Yeah, to give them a little credit, they did show some good resilience last week against Fluffy Aimers, who we saw really good winning that 2-1. But yeah, totally agree. They're not there yet.
Yeah, there's a lot more to be done by M80, and that comes from winning this match against YFP. So let's talk a little bit about YFP, because this is also a team that has had their ups and downs, but the expectations are honestly not as high as they were for M80. And I feel like that's something that they can really work along. We remember towards the beginning of the season, they made some changes, they made some additions. We obviously now have Jake here. And now I'm wondering, when it comes to this M80 that's not the strongest, not the unstoppable team-wide, how is YFP going to look like today?
I'm so blown away by how good this YFP team is now in stage 2. YFP and Fluffy Aimers just did a 1-for-1 trade offer. Fluffy Aimers, you get the firepower you need. YFP, you get the support players you need. And both have benefited massively from it. In stage 1, YFP, they had all the firepower and negative teamwork. Everyone was just going for solo plays all over the place. Everyone was always pushing for more kills. No one was ever playing passively, never setting up anything of significance with utility crossfires. It was a mess. And now this stage, they've completely turned that around. They look incredible now. I've been so impressed with them this entire time. Every team that they've been a favorite against, they've blown out. They almost beat Dark Zero, who were then Turtle Troop, who they just beat Oxygen. They're the best team that we have right now if you're going off that. And they kept it so close. They destroyed them on one map, Lotus, and then the other two. One went to OT, the other one was a 13-10 loss. These guys are legit.
Yeah, and even those players that they added in terms of that synergy that you needed to bring, like the support system around Will or even around Jakey, that's also extra firepower too. Remember, these are players that came down from like the tier 1 scene when they were on the top of it with Cloud9 and with 100 Thieves respectively, and they've also played at the almost at the biggest stage. I think Jakey, maybe not at like the Masters level, but has played like for home grounds and made it to the grand finals of that one, so they know what it's like to play under that heavy pressure. So to come back into a team that is trying to find a groove and that's trying to fight back into YFP to say, hey, we now have an opportunity with this core to get back into the international stage in Ascension, this actually proves to be very promising for this roster should they continue this positive run that they've been going towards to in the past few weeks.
Yeah, and honestly, YFP has been looking good. As you guys were saying, they've been winning where they in those matches were their favorite. They are winning those matches, but today it feels like it's the real test of where YFP stands. So one of the two players that are going to be a big difference maker today has to be either Koala Noob or Penny. Let's talk a little bit about them because they are both the duelists of those teams, and both have had some really amazing series. They are the kind of duelists that can change and turn a match around, and so today they have a big task to make sure that that's going to be possible. Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, just last week, Penny went 41-14 playing Jet on 2 maps against Dobros, and that is just ridiculous. Against Turtle Troop, excuse me, played Neon, actually pre-buff on Lotus, and was insane. The comp, the strategy from YFP there was amazing. I think he's really turned things around since stage 1. You know, a player that has had opportunities here and there on tier 1 team. I mean, 3.3 KD. Yeah. That is ridiculous. And on the other side, Koala Noob is now playing Raze all the time. It used to be Nismo on you know maps like Lotus, but Koala Noob full on duelist now, Vance.
And that's the thing for Koala Noob playing the Raze. It's not the same when I'm looking at Koala Noob. I'm thinking about that name on a agent like Raze. I'm not thinking that he's going to be the one really creating that space and leading the charge and creating that gap so the rest of the team could follow. You're seeing a lot of highlight reels around Koala Noob with the operators we just saw before in this B-roll, where he's posted up. He's going to be able to land that shot, and those satchels are used to really get away. But if not, the utility that he has available for him playing as that Raze, he could use those pain shells to really try to clear out that space that they need to, and maybe have a different type of entry as a core here for M80. I don't think he's mechanically the best in terms of satchels for the team for Raze, but at least he hasn't lost his aim and what value he brings as an opper or as just a rifler for the team when they need the Raze utility.
But that's the thing, right? The more that we see Valorant, the more that we see this meta, the more the teams are realizing that just having a guy that can only play Jet and kind of a Raze is not enough. You need a guy that can play these two pretty much to perfection, because as I just mentioned it, these are the players that can turn around maps where they feel really comfortable. So that, I feel like, can be a place to work around for YFP. I think Penny, I mean, you look at the stats and it's honestly mind-blowing. Koala Noob, the guy that we always talked about and has been struggling so much, and on the other side you see a YFP and you see a Penny that is taking any chances that he can, Wyatt, to get these wins and to get those stats go up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping to see if we do get Lotus, which we probably will, because M80 are either going to pick it or float it, and same for YFP. If we do go there, I'm excited to see Penny now on the buff to Neon, because again, the last time he played it, it was pre-buff Neon, and they had this really cool like 4-1 death ball play on Lotus where they were just running around giving him tons of utility, and he was going off, and I would love to see more of that.
Let's check the maps then. Let's see where we're going to be headed for today between M80 and YFP. Let's see if it's going to be that Lotus or something else. And guess what?
Wow.
It's an interesting map here, Vance. It's Haven to start us off, which I love, then Ascent, and then Sunset.
Yeah, and on top of that, M80 is the one that bans Lotus, which is quite intriguing. But overall, though, you're going into a map pool, at least on the first one for Haven and Ascent, where you don't necessarily need to play into the buffs of the new agents of ISO and Neon. You could still get great value off a Jet with the op to play some quote-unquote standard Haven, as we knew from the past with a Jet op, to take control of the A choke or the long C pick or the walk down towards B and dash away. So this might still be a good, a two good map series in the wheelhouse for M80, where they don't have to overcook in compositions, where if I'm going to be the one doubting Koala Noob on a raise, and I don't think that I see him playing as a Neon or an ISO yet, this still works for them, Wyatt. Yeah,
it is interesting to see M80 ban Lotus. Watching YFP on it just must feel like these guys are really, really strong. Ascent, the pick from YFP, is also an interesting one because M80 had a great Ascent against Fluffy Aimers just last week, beat them 13-6. So these first two maps should be extremely, extremely interesting. Haven, though, we haven't gotten to see a ton of it since it's been re-added. So seeing it as someone's pick should be very cool.
We haven't seen it for M80, which is what makes this the most exciting. We've yet to see this map being played by them, and we were talking a lot about what Calling Noob is gonna do. Is he gonna play the Jet? Is he gonna play the Raze? Is he gonna play something else? As we've seen other teams run, even the ISO, even the Neon. I think most likely we're gonna continue to see that Jet duel, which I think it's amazing. But I think this is a very, very good map pool, especially for what is gonna be the rest of the year event.
Yeah, and before I take a step over to continue to talk about Haven and even an Ascent for M80, they have a Yoru coming out, and not necessarily always going back to the Jet anymore for M80, but at least for Haven, I think if you're looking and thinking about it really quick here from who you have as a team and what agents that they could potentially play and what's their best in slot in, you could think about Koala Noob as his Jet. You could think about Nismo, who's also very good on a Breach, and then you also have BCJ, that's been known to be a very good Sova player. So already in that wheelhouse, and Xander on an Omen, by the way. So you could play like a default Haven and still get
so you're
so much value out
thinking
of it.
is going to be the same comp as YFP run against Dobros?
Most likely.
Yeah. I feel like that wouldn't be surprising at all. I feel like these are also teams that have been innovating a little bit, Wyatt, but not too much. We're not going crazy. So that seems pretty reasonable to me.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited as well with Haven coming in with M80. I still associate this team with the old Ghost Gaming core, who at a time were innovating on Haven, actually. They were, when Fade came into the game, they were, the first team running like a Fade, Raze, Astra, I believe, on that map, with Nismo really taking over on Raze there. So I wonder if, maybe they'll be a little bit inspired by some nostalgia of a map that they were so dominant on back in the day, or if we're going to see some Breach Neon. We've been seeing that globally. We've been seeing ISO Neon on Haven globally. I think it was like Heretics that are running that, if I remember correctly. So there's a ton of options on New Haven. The meta is really being explored right now.
Exactly. When you get down to the meta, there's just, again, what we mentioned at top of show, just a fork where we're trying to see if you could go back into like the meta comp. So there's a new shift in terms of composition of maybe it's just going to be a solo duelist or even double duelist, but getting great value of dropping a Sentinel player, because now your single Sentinel is going to have to be a deadlock, and you just focus on playing inside sight, playing just on the outside of it, and just making sure that you commit and know that there's a potential flanks that could happen. So there's good game plans that you could cook up on different types of approaches onto every single one of these maps, which is nice to see. But in the end, though, if you're looking at the YFP where they got that victory last time on Haven, I think they played the double Sentinel on top of that with the Deadlock and the Cypher. So now if you're trying to bring out a double initiator, going back to, again, the classic comp on the side of M80 with a Breach and a Sova, then you have like straight counters into a Cypher trip, a Cypher combination. And if they try to even play, even the most default comp helps you into like the double initiator util they would need to break down KJ util if you have to play a KJ in the future. So I think I feel that with Haven getting no changes, it's also future-proof if you haven't had enough time to practice on that map to play what you were comfortable with in the past as well.
And something important as well is that, you know, just like we saw for Fluff Aimers being so good on the map of Sunset, these teams are looking for one map where they can be really dominant on. We just saw last week that is this map of Haven by the side of YFP. They won in a very convincing fashion. It was a 13-4 against them. So maybe this can be their map, because as we were just getting the chance to look at the maps, it was, you know, they win some, they lose some, and that is honestly why the nature of what Challengers is, but it just hasn't been the case for these teams. I feel like I hear that Agent Select is ready now, so let's jump into the Zippo Agent Select. Let's see where we're gonna be headed. Oh, never mind, we don't have the Agent Select ready. The teams,
trolled.
you know, they like to take their time. They like to think about this for a little bit. So we're gonna throw to a break, and then when we come back, we should have the match ready.
Welcome back, folks, and thank you for your patience as we get the Agent Select into M80 versus YFP for the Zippo Agent Select now on Haven. And yes, it is some good old honest Valorant for M80 side with the KJ on net. Remember, best in slot. This was actually a good agent on net on this map too in the past.
Yeah, interesting to see the KJ, frankly, in this pretty Cypher dominant meta on a map that leans toward the Cypher, which is what Thief is going to be playing. That's by far his most played agent in Stage 2. YFP coming with the same composition that they obliterated Dobros with last week, and this is M80's debut on Haven, back in the pool, their map pick. You know, always risky to pick into the new map, but of course they're going to be feeling confident here. Scrims must have been going really well. They must be feeling real comfortable, and it's not like they haven't all played Haven 500 times anyway. Like, this map has been in the pool forever, so you know, it's not like they picked Abyss
And despite the map having no changes going back into the map pool, we're still very happy that Haven is back here in a rotation unchanged, because it's still one of the best maps that we currently have. And I kind of trolled on the YFP on a double Sentinels. I was still looking back at their Ascent composition here, where they play that Deadlock in the Cypher, but this time around it is definitely almost a mirror comp, with the exception of the Sentinels. That's a difference for both of these teams, as now finally the piss around has started, with the barrier coming up, some control towards the C site, and it's a late control now, and Collingham seems to be ready, and they seem to have a read here for the fault line hit on this front B site.
The YFP biding their time here just a bit. Two players pushed up into Cubby on C. That's going to be their Breach and Sova. They're just going to silently fall back. YFP with a lot of attacker side spawn control right now.
Yeah, I was going to be like, yeah, they're going to go back to spawn and wait till the end. This is the best strat I've ever seen. The scrims have been amazing for YFP so far. But no, they're falling back, and they're going to call here for our timeout. And you just saw, though, before it went into the timeout, Nesta like running down mid, being like, I'm going to find you. But this is probably going to be a replay or a retake into that round. Although, when you see how this round first started, though, without the information that was in the front of that B site, it's still here why they hurt that recon dot towards C. So maybe this is something that, you know, M80 could be ready for should we be able to resume the first pistol round. And thankfully, if we have to go through a match medic, it won't be that long, because we literally haven't gone to kill yet. So this is great.
Yeah, I appreciated you trying to find something in the round to speculate about when not a singular bullet was fired at anywhere. Nothing happened. Just guys walking around. Listen, you take what you can get in a moment like that. I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. We'll match medic it up. You know what I mean? Get back into that first round. All that.
But M80, when you're looking at this, right? Why when you yeah? So
how's your week been?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Hot weather. It was amazing. It's hot today as well, though you're telling me Montreal weather is not that hot, but compared to where you are,
Austin, get over it, buddy.
But at least this match is going to be hot, right? M80 versus YFP. When we're looking back at, you know, introducing this roster on both ends, we did both mention, and even agreeing with Dan Dryad, that the ups and downs of M80s and the highs and lows, not necessarily at the lowest lows, because I don't feel that their playoff contention is under heavy attack, but overall it's still, you know, not the M80 that we expect. So it still makes this game, though, quite close, where I believe even if YFP is able to pull this through, wouldn't necessarily be an upset here against M80, just due to the sheer fact that YFP is looking so good in the past few weeks. And why it almost feels at this point that it's just because you have the name and the name of M80 that you think this is supposed to be an unstoppable team.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams right now in that like upper table of challengers that have really improved and are all really close. It feels like they all have a reasonable shot at beating each other. And for some of the teams, they were newly formed at the beginning of the year, just took some time to get into the mix. You know, took a couple good roster moves, YFP and Fluffy Aimers. You know what I mean? That whole thing, all that.
This is where we're looking back at it too. It almost feels like every week when I'm having a conversation with Roy and we're talking about Spike down here in this stage 2, and we're looking at the current standings, like outside of those that are like this red alert of like things may not be going for well for them to try to make it to playoffs. Because let's just think about it. Even if you're like in the mid pack right now for the season in stage 2, it's really like you're looking at the overall score line of where you're going to place out of the 10 to get the points, 10 out of 12, and out of that, the top 8 is going to go through the playoffs. So if you're able to still get some pretty good standings here for those that are fighting at the bottom, which I'm talking about TSM and SAT Esports and M80 and Moisex Shopify, Blinn, Fluffy Aimers. I mean, all of those teams are pretty much neck and neck at that race, currently at 3-2, 2-2, or 2-3. So outside of like the Dark Zero and the Oxygen Esports, this stage has been so close for so many of these teams, which makes it so difficult right now to try to predict these games every week. Because for you here, Wide, you predicted YFP to take the series.
Yeah, it was a not difficult, easy prediction. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you just
don't know what you're talking about,
just
buddy.
flip the coin?
No, I'm confident in YFP. I like what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? They've been rolling everybody. They almost beat Turtle Troop, the best team. M80 are good, but they're not at their best. Listen, this is an easy one. YFP, they're winning 2-0, 13-9, and then actually 13-10 first map, 13-9 on the second map. You know what I mean?
Put that in the chat.
You
know what?
I've already seen it in the stars. It's a whole thing. It's really just that simple, Vans.
Haven, and then 13-9 Ascent. I'm just writing in my notes just to keep you in check here, as we will soon see this series unravel. We thank you for your patience, by the way, chat. We should be ready to go in the next minute and a half. And I'm going to hold myself accountable for that, too, for predicting how long this technical pause is going to take. But, you know, put that timer up, 90 seconds. We get to see all the nice flybys here of this map of Haven. But, yeah, I do kind of agree with you in a sense. You know, YFP's been looking good on a right trajectory. And, you know, Penny's been frying most recently and finding the groove. There's also been tweets coming out from Penny following the victory that they got against Dobros, where he's like, yeah, I'm back in form. Things are feeling pretty good, and we're feeling pretty good as a unit, which is great to see. But without taking any credit away here, because I don't want to like knock down players and knock down teams to put another team higher up. But, you know, we still had not the best results and the best synergy and the best games coming out of Dobros overall in this stage. So you could put a little asterisk on that one. Literally, that looks like the YFP logo to say, okay, well, we look really dominant, but so did Fluffy Aimers, for example, today, right? So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that confidence going to be able to bleed through here in this series against M80 as we're back in the game with 20 seconds left.
Yep.
And the Yapathon is over.
And you know what? I started a timer when you said 90 seconds guaranteed, just to see if you were full of baloney. But you weren't. You're right. You're right. I can't say
the baloney is
I can't say the curse word.
An amazing sandwich. Yeah, let's go back, right? So it looks to be the exact same positioning. So not only are they going to match medic, but they're also going to make sure that the same util is used when the bears come up. So that recon dodge still comes up. They still walk up middle.
It is the exact same round.
Is this just a replay?
It is the exact same round. I think the only difference is that a shock dart was used by the M80, or wait, the YFP. Wait. Oh yeah, that's flipped. The HUD is flipped. My brain hurt, but the YFP Sova to break. Me just dying to get this point off about how I got shock darted in the alarm bot. Desperately trying to talk about this.
I just realized that as well. It's we are in blue for M80 on defense to start things off. So yes, the recon dart did come out on the attack. The shock dart rather still came out as well. As Net is still trying to swing out. So again, it's the same thing as the pistol round. They walk out, but this time there are some kills that are happening. It's a 4-4, and we're lighting up the board here on the C side for a 2-for-1. Make that Jake answering back and getting the retaliation onto Xander. So this puts us now on a 2 versus 2, and BCJ on the top of the logs allows here M80 to capitalize on the pistol round.
That's my guy, BCJ. Look at him go, Vance. Look at him go on the logs. Just Big Confidence Johnson is, I think, what it stands for.
And you know what he's playing on? The logs.
Yeah, he was. You're correct. Some good headshots from him. Love that guy. All right, the scoreboard saved. Thank you, production. My goats, my heroes.
Thank you. Now we just need the UI for the utility. If not, all good. Shock dart coming at the beginning, though, and it's just to try to take control of orb at the beginning. We just mentioned and gassed up BCJ on the amount of kills that he's gotten his pistol, and grabbing his orb now puts him even further than halfway, and already pivoting forward, trying to move really quickly. A retaliation coming back. Xander on the flank! And that's another 4K going on the board, and unfortunately, again, no ace coming out of these multi-kills coming out from these players.
With some aim labs activity from Xander there in long.
Yeah.
Too bad he's an Omen and the ult's useless. If that was someone else. Boy, if that was Nismo, they'd be feasting with that rolling thunder.
Yeah,
or
wait
BCG.
till you see that.
But that's
ult.
fine.
Wait till you see the Omen ult getting another 4K for Xander.
They've got that big stack towards A to just fight for early pressure, recon, smoke down, stun from Nismo.
Here.
Except they don't need to use any of it because no one's there. And it's just a Cypher.
Yeah, exactly. Just a Cypher putting a camera up. It's looking down at least to see if there's any type of early pressure. And with that shooting down, look at how we're trying to stay active around the map for YFP. Jakey's already moving forward, breaking the turret, and they're trying to pull these rotates across, right? The Aldrone spots too, including the Jet and the Sova. So they know now that Koala Noob and BCJ are posted up on this A side. Although, with Nismo still inside B, they could still create this stall from the fault line. But they won't have any type of way to really get that information, as because that turret that got broken, everybody's just staying back so they could actually come back here and fight for the retake.
Spike is going to be planted for C-Long. A few players from YFP stacked up there. Penny has to at least get one here, though. He is very far forward compared to the rest of the team, and because of that, just going to opt to fall back. Play a bit closer with them.
Dash moving forward through, and the recon gets value because Penny's now spotted at the top of default. Net gets the pick with the Outlaw, and it's smoke towards the front, and somehow does land that shot onto Physic, and thankfully he had full shield. But here's that attempt of a defuse. It's going back and forth again. Outlaw getting more value moving forward, and Jigs on the late lurk. Sanders there for the kill. The defuse then comes across, and that will be a bonus round out for M80, already coming out with a vengeance and try to prove the haters wrong.
That was a great retake. YFP's positioning was pretty scrambled there with Penny playing default, playing too far forward and no one there to help.
We're just waiting right now to see what's going to happen for the next round, and because of that bonus, there's been some free upgrades coming through, and looks like we do have, unfortunately, another tech pause coming across here, chat. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, hopefully we'll fix the UI for you. Mid-round now is a 4-1 scoreline, and we're rolling back the days. Why not? If we are in the middle of the game here where we have to bring Haven back the old school style, let's bring back the old school HUD. At the same time, we went into a break where...
Damn right.
Yeah, it seems as though Sean Garris actually sent out a message to production to say, hey, can we have a stream with no Van Silly? Because he's just tired of hearing my voice and he's trying to mute me. But joke's on you. I fought for my life. We're back, baby. 4-2 scoreline for M80 over YFP, as you see the economy is still quite decent for M80, bringing the operator out for Koala Noob, but they're working with a Bulldog on BCJ.
I'm really glad that my casting duo right now is a guy that was commentating Valorant back in the 1980s when this HUD was being used. You can deadlift me through this one. Oh my god, what a shot from Koala Noob to open this up. Recon going to get covered up by the smoke as well, so he can take a more forward position. All of that utility from the Sova being nullified.
And because the ping went on to Zener, people were a little bit focused on Zener at that point, so he throws the paranoia, is able to TP away, and they didn't want to cross that smoke because they knew since you didn't get the ping there onto the Opera, you're kind of just afraid here to react and fight back on the C side. So YFP now pivots back into a 3-player hit on the C site, A site rather, with a late lurk coming out into B. Nismo under contact, Vault line coming out, trying to push forward with the players here of YFP. I just realized we also don't have game sounds, right? So Koala Noob just getting ready right now with the operator. Looking back, drone, recon dart coming through. Pew, pew, no ping. Jake trying to walk forward. Boom, headshot.
For us and VMix fans, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you need to make the sounds just yet.
Oh.
It's going to be a 5-on-3 retake. YFP.
I'm just
ready
ready
to go. The site. There's so much pressure on Thief, though.
I'm ready to go unhinged and now. Fault line coming out. The peek out. Oh, and the sound comes back. 3 versus 1. And now Will could only get 1 towards the A choke. And M80 continues to hold a pretty good defensive line.
All right, time to lock in. Also, I think I might have been wrong about my prediction, but we will see. Where I said YP were winning 13-10. I'm starting to lose confidence as they call the timeout here. Down 5-2.
We just waited this long. We waited this long to get back into the game, and then they'll call a timeout. Now they're making it even worse for me in terms of my patience, testing me out here for YFP.
We're right back to Waffle City. We don't even know what's been happening.
Exactly. Actually, you know what? I saw everything that's happened so far. We just didn't give the stream to Sean Garris. So far in the 7 rounds, it's just M80 having some pretty good defensive lines. The op came out very early for Koala Noob, and it seemed to rotate him at the correct spots to opt down and get these first bloods. We'll have to check the scoreboard later if that's actually true.
That was a nasty play from Koala Noob early on to find that first kill. Why are you going in on Sean so much? What did he do? He's a nice man.
Dude, he just told me he hated me and said, can we have a stream with no Van Silly? And that I took that to heart. I took that to heart, man. I went to go do a watch party with him for the Shopify Rebellion Grand Finals W that they got in Toronto. And got him a dad joke book for Father's Day, and that's how he repays my friendship.
You got him a dad joke book?
Yeah, I did. Now I'm gonna give him a diss track.
That's the most That's crazy.
All right, no, but we'll dial it in right now. Let's lock into the game.
Lock in.
5-7 right now in favor of M80. Exactly. Brazil. Travel, and looks like for YFP, they're looking for early control here towards this mid. And I like it. We're seeing some old school camera to look towards the front B side if there's going to be any type of pushes for a late hit, and you're scouting for info in the mid round here, Wyatt.
Drone into B, but net with the span. Catches the first on to Will. They are just on an eco around here. Penny has used the knives, but Koala. I mean, this is some vintage stuff, man. Watching Koala playing Jet on Haven, taking these aggressive angles with the operator. Yeah. Not that that was an aggressive angle, but rather, just taking these swings with the op. So confident from him. So consistent with the weapon, and Xander off to such a hot start as well. He has been such a standout player in all of Challengers this year. He's right at the top of the, all of the stats actually in stage 1. It was like him and Mata were basically the two that were up there for like ACS, kills per round, all of that.
Yeah, currently at 14-4 and putting another name on the map in terms of frag and IGL. And I do agree with you with seeing some old school Koala Noob looks very good here. And by the way, they're switching it around. Net's the one opting it towards C, so they can add some early pressure out towards this A side. Koala Noob's looking to move up with the dash activated already. Dash forward, and the trap plays ensues. They're trying to take control of this main, but the ping comes in from both sides. As Penny scores first, they get another ping onto Xander to wallbang him, and BCJ answers right back. A 2-for-2, and that will now be a stalemate on the A side. And it's up to the op of Net to try to anchor it alone with a util across the B and C site hold.
YFP aware that the other two M80 players work towards A, and because of that, they're going to try to work into C. They're going to get this space for free. Net going to opt to play it a little bit more passively, wait for his teammates to get there. Look at the ultimates on the side of M80. All three of them. First, that Hunter's Fury is going to deny the plant. Not going to find a kill. And now if they want the Rolling Thunder to get back in from Nismo. Looks like he's lining it up, and there it goes.
Oh, and it's going to hit the whole front side, but the back side, rather. But Penny's still not affected as he's holding that front side. Jake TP's across, allowing the gap for BCJ to open it up on a retake. And now it's a 2v2. BCJ's low. Shock dart landing right at the feet of Jakey, who's down at 64. The wide swing out, and Jakey does get the pick onto Nismo on the top of the logs. And they don't want to pick up the op at the end of the round.
What a 3-on-3 to win from them. They get two ultimates out, the Rolling Thunder and Hunter's Fury at that from M80, and get the round on top of it. That fight towards A was fantastic. Really great round from YFP here. Certainly a chance to try and even that score line up, get back into the game. But the M80 economy, has been pretty strong with a number of those round wins. So they're going to be able to buy up for at least these next two. I think actually all three rounds, no matter what.
And it's been control once again for YFP, and it's what I was trying to get to before, to see some old school Koala Noob on this Jet. They're also playing against a composition that's also very classic for YFP. So you don't have to like overthink and play around like walls and fades and whatnot. So it allows Koala Noob to activate just like that. Always being aggressive alone now that he could play these hero plays and dash away. But this position in the cubby, it's sort of being checked by Will. He's ready for it, but not quicker on the trigger. That forces Physic off the plant on the spike on the C side. Paranoia even pushes him out, allowing Koala Noob to activate the blades to make it a 1-for-1 there. Thief trying to keep the dream alive, but Xander once again, the man of the hour for M80, allows here the defensive side to take the lead by 4.
He's just too good right now. That setup from M80 was so nice. Xander pushed down into Cubby with Koala taking contact. Garage. Who was that? Jake getting punished. YFP trying to just sort of slow walk around the map like that when you're dealing with an op and Koala Noob is going to be extremely tough. Really well played from those two anchors, and that was a crucial round for YFP. Their economy was on the line there. It's shattered. M80 in prime position to have such a dominant first half on their map pick Haven.
Jake has a TP on the top of the A site, so they could try to clear it out and pinch it towards the players in sewers. And can they do so in this lower buy that you currently see from YFP around the hero rifle of Penny? And they cannot for now. The crossfire setup from sewers and on top of Heaven are too good. Nismo picks up 2 kills. A fight inside the sewers. Shorty right to the chest of Thief. And man, they had no chance to even activate for a plant inside the A site for YFP. And now you're going to the last round of the half where you mentioned that the economy is so good for the defensive side to even buy up to this moment.
Absolutely. M80 right now dominating YFP, who have been really fantastic so far in this stage. If they can close out the game from here, win a string of rounds and get a dominant win, that's the M80 that you want to see. I mean, we were talking about how this team hasn't been at their max potential, haven't met the expectations yet. A strong win here would be that.
And once again, siphoning out the operator, this time in the hands of Xander, so they could lock down the A side, and they could try to create some sort of trap play in front of the B side, and that's both duelists down on both ends, but health advantage for M80.
Ooh, swing from Net, trying to catch Physic, who is back on the cross. Forced out of the drone from Nismo's Aftershock. This is good info from YFP. They're going to try to burst into the B site while it's unmanned.
That does not get a ping, but BCG still wants to swing with the timing, but it gets met up by Thief. Steals that kill away now for the round. YFP back at the advantage on that 4 versus 3. And look at this, Wyatt. Xander has the Omen ult. This is going to be the best ult ever. Look at him back towards the C-Link, meeting up with Net with the op. Now picking up a Phantom actually on the way through as he smokes towards the A-Link so they can focus on that. It allows for them to get the first pick up to YFP. There goes the Paranoia in the back of Gong. There's that second kill from Xander. Looking back in the back here is dancing with Will. The third in the round and just retakes the round on his own. Jakey trying to run a time on his side. Up solo with this Omen. Finally the call comes out. He jumps on the top. Xander is waiting for him, but there's the defuse that he's sticking through, and he's gonna get it there for M80. Jake could not get the clutch out, and M80 will close out the half 9-3.
Just a series of fantastic decisions from Xander. 21-6 on the half. TP'd over to help Net, dodged that stun that came in from the YFP breach. Held the right angle to protect Net. Got so deep in the site while Net was distracting Will, whose backside flanks around. I mean, it was just all perfect from Xander, who has been the star of M80 this year. I'm going to get 21-6 is ridiculous for your Omen. That is crazy. M80 look excellent right now, on the verge of what would be their most dominant map win in Stage 2, no doubt.
He heard you when he said the Omen ult was useless. And gets great value for the retake now for M80, and definitely here is putting M80 back on that map of being that main contender for the top in Challenger Stage 2. Overall even, as they're trying to head into the playoffs with a convincing win against YFP today. Owl Drone to allow the initiation of M80 to take control of Garage, and they'll soon be met up here by an open C site. Although,
can he get value? Get spotted out. Stun is fantastic.
only does damage with the right-click classic and no kills, and even Xander just got picked off here as he's trying to set up the trade, and they flip the map across. M80 now fighting towards the spawn to get value to take down Thief, and now BCJ also gets the plant for a spawn. Paranoia does hit one close range. There's Qualinoob trying to help out, but the recon dart allows here Will to get the wall bang onto Xander. Back to the advantage on players for YFP. Penny trying to pinch on the left side. Wow. And he does so with the 3K in the round and the defuse for YFP to start to fight back on their defensive side.
The precision on those shots, lovely from Penny. Frankly, a lot of decisions from both teams in that round that I really like. The spawn push here from M80, knowing that they should flip the site when, Net got all of that information when he went down in window to the full push out on A. All that util, BCJ, they've recon, they stun, flash, all onto Thief back there to get that kill. But then YFP just flooding back in from the front side of the site. Penny finding the perfect timing to swing around default. Lovely from him. Goes without saying that was a must-win pistol round for YFP if they want to make this comeback a reality.
Starting off well, though. Jakey's at the top, and even the trip is perfect, and somehow Qualinoob still gets the pick before Will answers back. But yeah, they'll cycle the util across, the cycle the weapons, too, for YFP, looking pretty good in the anti-eco. As it definitely look for M80. They were just trying to surprise a player out in the open.
Down mid.
But they did not have the weaponry to help with. They did not go for a force buy in round number 2, despite the spike plan going down. They want to make sure, because of the cushion that they have here so far in this game, in terms of rounds, they want to make sure they have the best weapons going into the third round of the second half.
This is a small detail that I couldn't see, but I wish that I could know if Jake's Bulldog fell up top and isn't retrievable, or if it did fall down and someone was able to get it. Like, did Physic buy that in? Did he pick that up? I didn't notice, but I'm curious. Xander just wanders on over
30
to
seconds
A.
Left.
Now, he's been really good in this game, but surely he can't win a 1v4 with a Sheriff. I mean, surely not.
Especially when you're at the camera close. So as he goes for the plant, actually this is pretty good, but he'll still get pinged. Plant comes
rest
down,
in peace.
I was feeling it though. It felt like it could have gone at least the first one onto Physic where he would overextend it back into the A side, but definitely we're back into no shenanigans with the Sheriff Eco here from Xander. So a defuse comes in, YFP. They'll have a pretty decent bonus round as they only lost one player in the process in Jakey against the buy that M80 is about to bring out.
Hold on. Bulldog status. Let's find out. Oh, it did fall down. All good. They got the Bulldog back because of that. I was just so locked in on that. All right, Penny does have the Outlaw here, but M80, they didn't, because of that plant as well, they're just going to be on full armor. So it's not going to be any one-shot kill opportunity for the Outlaw versus a light armored player.
The Outlaws currently looking out towards the garage, so they do have pretty much that middle on lock. So they could play the other players more leaned in towards the C side. I mean, yes, it doesn't really look that there's players inside the site to help out Physic, but they have Util to help. The fault line answered back by Will. Koala dashes on the top, and Will finally comes in to chime in for the kill. But it goes for a 1-for-1 Thief holding at the top of the tower. Camera to spot Nismo and trying to get a pre-fired shot. Does get a pop through the wall, but Nismo is still better with aim. Headshot there with the Vandal. Spike planted now for M80 at the default spot. And you're playing a little bit further back. Net just got hit by the Outlaw, so he's down to 10 HP. This gives a chance now for YFP to circle back. It's only up to Nismo, the TP across, and now the smoke cloud burst to keep Nismo at bay. Fault line just about ready, and he's just waiting for the tap. Now trying to swing it on top of it. There's that clean shot onto Penny, and it's down to a 1v1. Smoke then comes up, and a walkout from Jakey. Understood by Nismo, who gets the Zippo clutch.
What a clutch from Nismo. Absolutely read them like a book there, those final two players. Was so prepared for both angles. So nicely done. And frankly, that was after M80 having some poor play in this moment there. BCJ totally caught. Net was unable to deal with Penny 2 times, ate 2 Outlaw shots. Nismo not able to swing for BCJ, but recovers it with a massive 1v2.
And you definitely see it here, the amount of spike plants that you had for M80 and keeping the classics in that second round. It allows for them to still have a pretty decent buy after you get a round win with another spike plant for the third round of the half for M80. So they're not out it where they have a broken buy. Yes, there's some half shields here and there, but at least they have the rifles to work against YFP.
Enemy tag.
Operator in the hands of Penny. Will be taking care of A long. YFP have just opted for 2 players to anchor the extremity sites while Physic just plays for some passive information towards B. And the pressure here will be applied to Jake and Thief, playing this crossfire on this C site.
Oh, they're trying to walk down the one this timing. Is it going to be good for Jakey? Just about. But they'll check it, and Koala Noob doesn't even need any help. This time, no fake checks, dash forward, and Net has slipped through the net, literally inside the B site, and does catch rotators, allowing M80 to plant, and yep, that is going to be the save for both Will and Penny right after that.
Yeah, just no other option there. That was a really rough timing for Jake to try and walk down C-Long. You know, had they maintained that crossfire, maybe things could have gone differently, but getting antsy where YFP with M80 just cutting noise entirely. You know, and Net found the B site totally exposed, took advantage of that as well.
Scanning ahead.
It is definitely YFP playing a little bit more passively and just trying to hope that they're going to hear Util and react off that, and that hopefully M80 is just going to walk into the crosshairs of Penny. If you're definitely, as you've mentioned, here, Wyatt, with Net being able to slip in towards this B site and a walk contact all along. And that's a call here from M80 because they put that turret down in front of the boxes and realized that nobody was really pushing for control in front of the B site and garage. So it kind of gives you an idea here that YFP is potentially just playing off reaction, and you're trying to play the surprise factor, and it worked out.
Yeah, it was a very passive round from the defenders. We'll see now what they can do with an op that carried over, which is actually going to be thrown to Jake because Penny has the knives up. Jake is going to hold the angle for Penny down C, while he is going to attempt to silently push down. Just going to play into the cubbies, so if they go towards C, it's a little bait setup where Jake can take contact, Penny could fight forward.
Right there.
There's the reaction. They heard the flash, the wall bangs coming out, trying to spam towards the front of the B site. They see the Aldrone towards A, so it is a commitment here from M80 to work towards this front B site and potentially A side. So what's the reaction for YFP is to anchor up 2 players inside this B site because Penny pushed all the way down.
Will he trigger this alarm bot though? No, going to get into the corner. How are M80 going to handle this? I mean, surely they clear this, right?
They do. And with... they do it easily on top of that, and even got the pick there inside the garage onto Jakey. So those players trying to hold the off in the Blade Storm on the C side. Discovered, taken down, and there's a possibility to salvage the op once again. As this would put them in a 12-5 deficit for YFP, where they desperately need these weapons. Look at the economy that's left here for YFP. And I don't only really think you're in a position to be able to waste the economy and fight against the exits of M80 because they have their economy built up.
Yeah, no option but a save. And M80 can go for a little bit of a hunt if they want to. They are on the cusp of such a dominant map win against a team YFP that have stepped up to such a high level in Stage 2. If M80 can close this out here, if they can, win this 2-0 or even take the series 2-1 from this point,
match point.
You have to be really excited, or getting far more excited about this team. It's been slow for them in 2024. I think everyone expected them to be swinging out the gate, but they just haven't. They've been in that top tier, but you're expecting them to be contesting for not just in the top tier, but to win partnership. And they've just not looked at that level. But bringing Net into the team, if they can keep elevating themselves, get a strong win here, that is a great step in the right direction. They're hitting the C site fast, and they're going to have it for free. It could be a 5-on-5 retake to close this game out or keep YFP in it. Lucky first from Jake.
Sometimes you'll take those. A chance here to fight back for YFP and to stay in the game as they had the player advantage. The thing is, they don't have that. They lost it on that previous round when Thief got picked off. But here comes a Hunter's Fury from BCJ. It does get a ping onto one and onto a second one. No kills on that second one, but look at the damage coming through. Thief and Physic, 8-1 beam. Paranoia answered back. Dismal gets caught by it on the top of the platform. Labored shots, but Sander gets the pick. Couldn't get the other one. And a chance to fight back for BCJ, but it will not happen. And all that luck in the favor of YFP, where their RNG of the burst shots did not come in favor of M80.
No, not at all. Nismo getting caught forward there. Jake places that, smoke when you're entering from the site towards that back right box. Just, nullifies some of those angles where someone could help Nismo. He's fully blinded. And that's a great way to burst back into the site. Obviously gets that first spam kill as well, which helps quite a bit. Good retake to stay in the game, but they're going to need to obviously do a whole lot more. And Vansili, I'm not a believer yet. I mean, you should. I mean, no one should be. But listen, I'll let YFP. We'll see if we can get to believer status. But we're gonna need several more rounds first.
At least they're trying. With the economy that's available for quality with the operator, nobody really wants to swing out towards A main to get info yet. Maximum Bogdan's Law. You're trying to leverage Koala Noob with the dash and the Vandal instead to try to get in for the entry and leverage Nismo with the operator. It only makes sense. He has an aftershock and also the Rolling Thunder available for the Pulse plant to run that clock down in their favor as M80 walks into an open site.
Full retake here from YFP that gave this site up. It's going to come down to another one. Wow, Koala Noob, that aggression punished.
Ships of the night. Both inside the smoke, but yes, as you've just mentioned it, still better for YFP on their positioning. No opportunities to run anything at all in the delay of the post plan, as you saw that flood retake utility so good for YFP. And now they have the Rolling Thunder on top of that on Will, which allows for them to really go into a chess match in this round number 19.
Nicely done. 2 full retakes from them that have looked really clean. I mean, we cannot forget that YFP, they did just play this map last week and won 13-4 against Dobros. That was a dominant win. So there are no slouches here. And in those set moments, they do look quite good. But with that first half, with that attack side being so rough, even a strong defense, it's kind of like what we saw in that Lotus game just in the previous one, where Dobros started looking good on defense, but it was too little too late because they got blown out on the first half. And YFP still have so much to do here.
But at least the silver lining and the hope that you have here on the camera of YFP is that you forced out the first time out of M80, a team that looked like they had full control of this game so far, and starting to see that these post-plant scenarios are starting to slip on how M80 is trying to play around these post-plants. The attempt on C, the attempt of A, we haven't seen too much from M80 towards this B site, where it could actually be very, very good to use as a post-plant opportunity, especially with the Rolling Thunder available for Nismo. The call will have to be now for how can YFP react now to still this ultimate available for Nismo, and also the economy available. Thankfully, at least here, Wyatt, the op did go back in the favor of YFP, back in the hands of Penny, who's trying to look for a garage pick.
Revealing area.
Full play towards A here for M80. Recon goes down short, not going to spot anything. Jake and Thief are entrenched close into this site. Those anchors are going to have to do some serious work. Will is going to have great timing with this Rolling Thunder, though.
Just off the camera, too. But unfortunately, he didn't let it go. And that allows the 1-for-1 to happen. There's that hit. No opportunities as the Paranoid comes out, but it's close enough in the range for Jakey to get the kill onto Xander. Now trying to delay. Players are hit now on the attack side of M80, forced to fall back. And they realize here now for YFP that they've done their due diligence and have held the first wave, attempting to hit this A site. M80 just got spotted here by Jakey. TP's away, and they realize now that M80 is just looking for the re-hit this time. All 3 of them towards the sewers, potentially around this Rolling Thunder.
And they have no smoke, so Penny should be able to get 1 free kill here.
There's that 1 free one. Is it a BOGO? For a second one. To buy 1, get 1 free. The wall bang hits onto Nismo. And that should be easier, I was going to say, for Net. And for Jakey, rather. That should have had them both dead to rights. Shot darts landing down. Drop down towards that side. The close range from Penny is huge. And he's about to get detained. Oh my God. About to get detained, but does not care with the long hair. Drops in with the shorty, and a 10 HP falls down to 0. And another retake successful by YFP.
That was nasty from Penny. What a hero in that situation. What a risk, what a big fight he took against Net, who had just planted that spike with the up-close range. I mean, if he loses that, it is probably wraps on the round. Listen, we're getting close to belief status, fans. I'm gonna be honest.
You told me
we are getting close. We're getting close.
What do you
Physic
mean?
is just a couple orbs off the Hunter's Fury coming into this round, and it looks like they're gonna try to pick it up for him on A. With Penny holding the line with the operator. There's certainly gonna be some contention, though.
Almost felt like he was trying to updraft on top of the boxes, but missed it and got inside that smoke. But they're not going for the orb. It's just trying to hold the line so he walks that area. And Will is going to be under heavy attack. Looks like hearing the audio cues on the A side forces now M80 to push towards B.
Big fight in window. Can Nismo get at least 1 here? Physic on the peak! Wow, takes him down. Nismo not quick enough on the trigger for that. And now we're into a 5-on-4 retake. These big retakes have been great for YFP so far.
So many rounds ago, Nismo was on point with how he read that 1 versus 2. This time loses that duel. And now that flank from behind, he'll physic 1 extra jump too many. Now close range battle and not backstab with the op from Penny. A TP now coming out from Jakey inside the site to try to get info. He's sticking it now, spots the player towards the gong, who gets hit by the fault line, which allows Steve to get the kill onto BCJ. Quanum unstunned. The second kill onto Will. It's up 2 in a 2 versus 1. There's not enough time on that spike, but he does get the kill on Jakey from Xander. And will there be enough time for the defuse? And they will definitely get it now for YFP. And are you now into belief status, Wyatt?
I'm starting to believe just a little bit. Just a bit of belief. I mean, listen, Physic, he's usually... You know, listen, he's the IGL for the team. He's not always the one stepping up individually, but that first kill he got onto Nismo in window was as high impact as a kill you can get in Valorant. To have that 5v4, but not just a 5v4 in the retake, but a 5v4 where all of M80 were being, you know, encircled in that site. Players coming from garage, coming from behind them. Penny with the aggressive peek. Wow. He does get that shot off onto Koala. Not a kill, but 100 damage dealt.
44 left on him, and the Owl Drone's about to try to clear inside garage, and you definitely do see Penny. He wants more, and he's locking it down. And it almost feels at this point they were potentially trying to use the Owl Drone to sell that fake towards the B as everybody else is walking towards A. The biggest play, it's up to Xander walking through this A site, where it's not being watched here by Physic.
Physic is in trouble if he makes noise here at long, and he does. He's going to get caught by Xander. Really haphazard setup from YFP, and it gives M80 such an opening to close the game. Nismo still has that rolling thunder. He's been maintaining it for a few rounds, and that could be the linchpin of a 13th round of a game end. M80 taking their map pick, Haven.
Penny now activating the Blade Storm too, trying to watch that flank. No lurks coming this time around from Ned's signature move that he does here in the game of Valorant. There comes the delays of utility out from M80 on the pulse line, and they have to activate very quickly for YFP. Remember that rolling thunder that's still available for Nismo. There it goes. It gets unleashed, and it does get the hit off, but Jake still gets the shot somehow onto Koala Noob. Clock is ticking down. The swing out from Will. There's that first and second kill. It's back to a 2 versus 2. The flash on the top, smacking down towards the air is Nismo with the last kill onto Penny. And finally, M80 is able to close it out on the first map here of Haven.
I mean, some life for YFP at the end there, but it just came down to M80's first half being so good. An insurmountable comeback, or rather insurmountable lead, a comeback that couldn't be made when you're just down 9-3 like that. Koala Noob did great work with the operator in the first half, but the story of that game, this player of that game was Xander, no doubt. I mean, he was just way too good. He was 21-6 to end the first half. I mean, how are you supposed to win when someone is taking over the game in that fashion?
And at least on the side of YFP, when they actually took the defensive side, yes, 9-3 was maybe a little bit too much for them to try to bring that comeback in that game. But you definitely started seeing from one end when the immediate Xander just popping off here with this flank side he was able to get. At least YFP, they're showing some light now, knowing that they could play some good teamwork to play the defensive side. And hopefully that will carry over where they can potentially bring this into a third map. Ascent is coming up after the break.
face.